I represent TV Formula from a small and ancient nation of Georgia. And my question is to Mr. Richard Gere. I was wondering, we all know that not everybody gets equal and fair chances in life. And we also know that without your work, the world would not be the same today as it is. So my question was what your advice would be to young film industry students in the country like mine, small country which is troubled through big neighbors next to us, where the young students are still defending their freedom and sovereignty in the streets like today, 40 days in a row. So what would advice of yours be for the young film industry students? Thank you for your answer.
Well, I have to take exception to one thing. She said that the world we live in today would not have been the same without us. Don't lay that on us. It's not our fault, please.
No, not but you being a living legend, what your advice would be?
Advice for young filmmakers?
Young filmmakers protesting and fighting for their right of freedom in countries like Georgia right now.
You only have one thing that no one else has, which is your own life history, your own narrative. And when you try to do something like somebody else, there's always going to be somebody else who's going to do it better than you do. The only thing you can really do is find that thing that you can bring to the table. Now, obviously, in a repressive social environment, that's very, very hard. And I was here at Cannes during Glasnost, and the sun was shining, and everyone thought New Russia was upon us. Well, it's not. It's gone again. And so, it's very hard to reach into another person's predicament, and just slap them on the back and say, congratulations, your country is better. Because we're not in control of that.
Richard?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. It's a really good question. I was able, I'll make it as short as I can, but during the Soviet years was the best years of Russian cinema. And part of it was that because of the repression and the oppression, artists had to find more subtle ways to communicate. And really extraordinary films were being made on very difficult subjects in the former Soviet Union. When it changed and became much more corporate and capitalist, the films were not nearly as good. They were aping kind of Western stupid movies. So I think that, again, artists will find a way to communicate. And it doesn't have to be big budgets. I know it's hard to find money everywhere. I mean, it was hard for these guys to find the money to make this film with known actors, international actors. So I know it's difficult there. But I would say the same thing I'd say to Palestinian friends of mine. It's not a question of money. It's a question of having something to say, and you will find it. Now, to say something that's of value is to work on yourself and to purify your heart and your mind as much as you can. So there is a generosity of spirit and even the semblance of a kind of wisdom that will come through the art and make it valuable. And you see this everywhere. You see it in the Middle East, great films that are coming out of the Middle East, and directors who were never seen again. This happens all over the world. Clean your heart, open your mind, learn your craft, and be very brave.